Good morning and welcome back to another video. Today's video is one that I've been wanting to make for a very long time. So today's actually my birthday. I am 26. Don't let the title fool you. I wanted to make this video for literally like 6 months now, called 25 Things I've Learned in 25 Years. I am 26, so we're kind of doing this a year late, but 26 things in 26 years doesn't quite sound right. So my idea for this video was pretty much, right, let me just start again. I am a sucker for like good quotes, like life quotes, you know, those kind of, I have literally a note on my phone and I look at quotes all the time on Instagram, Google, all these kind of things, and I save the ones that I feel are like relevant. My ring is also somehow too big for me today. My finger has lost weight. Or it's actually the fact that I am freezing. Oh my god, itchy eyeball. So for me, this video is more of 25 things I've learned in 25 years, 1 year late. But it's not necessarily all things I've learned. Some of them are things that I like believe, or my kind of like outlook on life and all these kind of things. So they are not fact, they are not to be taken seriously. These are just my life advice to you. My life advice to you, especially those that are like, do you know what age group I want to watch this video? Actually everybody, but more so like 13 to 21 year olds, because right now I feel like the world is going up in the air. We'll say that, and people's like desires and wants out of life are so skewed in my opinion. So with that being said, I'm just going to try and keep this as concise as possible. I say that all the time and I talk for hours, but we're going to try and keep this under 15 minutes. Preferably 10, but we'll go. Most of them I'm just going to read out just as they are, and I'm not going to further explain them because I don't really need it. But some of them I literally have a paragraph for. So, number 1, I personally believe that everything happens for a reason. Every single thing that you do in life was supposed to happen, or whatever happens to you was supposed to happen. And this is going to sound really ridiculous, but see, every time I drop my car keys, I don't know why, but every time I drop my car keys, I'm like, I avoided a bullet, because I think of myself bending down and at that time something shooting past me and missing my head. That's extreme, but I do think that everything happens for a reason. I don't think there's, I have no doubt that the universe works in the way that it works. Does that make sense? So if anything ever negative happens to you, you have to think, this is teaching me something, or it was meant to happen. Gary Vee has a really good video on this on YouTube, pretty much talking about, do you know what, I'll link it down below and go and watch that. It's pretty much a case of, there's no point saying, okay, I could do X and Y, and I did Y, but now I'm kind of thinking, what if I did X? If you did X, you might have got hit by a bus and died, but you'll never know that. So everything happens for a reason. Number 2, do what you love. Now this might be, it sounds easier than it is, and it's easy to say for me because I do what I love, but there's absolutely no reason why you can't do what you love, even if it's just as a hobby or like a side project. But if you can turn it into a career, then you're absolutely winning in life. Experience over materials is number 3. Personally, for me, I'm not a materialistic person, especially when it comes to, for example, like designer stuff. So if you like designer bags and shoes and clothes, that's fair enough, but that's personally not my cup of tea. If somebody said to me, you can spend £2,000 on a Gucci bag or £2,000 on a trip somewhere, then I would definitely take the trip, because personally for me, I feel like one day when I die, I'm going to be thinking about the things I did rather than the things I had, if that makes sense. I doubt very much a lot of people lie on their deathbed and think about their favourite handbag. But you know, everyone has their own personal taste. Some people really, really do like bags, so that's fine. Number 4, nobody can control your happiness. Now, that might sound a bit like, oh, but there's haters, people are nasty, blah, de, blah, de, blah. I personally believe that your reaction to things will cause how you feel about things. So if somebody says something negative to me or posts it online or whatever, I very much, I've said this before, think about that person's in a bad place. It's nothing to do with me, or even if that person is in a good place, they're just having a bad day, or quite frankly, do you know what, you don't like me and that's okay, because I like me. So that's fine. I just think that when it comes to your own happiness, self-worth, positive mental attitude, that is something that you control. Now, I'm not going to talk about mental illness or anything like that, because obviously that's a different kettle of fish, but average day-to-day life, you cannot let somebody else bring you down. Number 5, be nice to everyone, but not naive. Now, I want to explain that a wee bit, because I feel like just saying be nice is, well, everyone should be nice, be kind, all that kind of stuff, but don't take SHIT, because that's where you're going to get walked all over. Let's just do that. Moving on, this is a funny one. If you're ever sick, do not Google your symptoms, because you're either pregnant or dying. That's all that I ever get as a conclusion when I go on Google. I literally went to the A&E over needing a poo. I will tell you that story really quickly. Pretty much, I went to the doctors a few years ago feeling unwell. They told me I most likely had glandular fever. I didn't. And then I had a sore stomach that day. Googled sore stomach and glandular fever, and it said ruptured spleen. So then I'm lying on the floor thinking I'm going to pass out, telling my mum I've got a ruptured spleen. My stomach was all swollen at the one side, and I was like, oh my god, I'm literally dying. Had my dad take me to the A&E at like 2 o'clock in the morning and tell them I had this lump in my stomach, and oh my god, I think my spleen's ruptured. I was so nervous, I went to the toilet and the lump was gone. Basically, I just needed a poo. But Google told me I had a ruptured spleen. So there was that. Moving on. Also, don't use coconut oil as sun cream unless you want to cook yourself from the inside out, because especially if you're Scottish, you are pale, you're never in the sun. Do not cover your whole body in coconut oil and then lie in the sun at 35 degrees. You will be close to death. I did that, I know, don't even go there. I said this in one of my recent videos, and it was regret nothing, because at some point it's exactly what you wanted. Now, that might sound silly, but I genuinely feel like if you do something when you're 18, say you kissed a boy, I don't know, and then, you know, a year later you're like, ugh, I wish I didn't kiss that boy. Well, see, in that moment you wanted to kiss that boy, so that's not a good example, but I just feel like, what is the point in regretting things? Number one, you can't go back and change them, and number two, at some point in your existence, that's what you wanted to do, hence why you did it. I'm pretty sure I've also said this as well, and I'm using this as like copyright, this is my quote. If it doesn't matter when you're dying, then it shouldn't matter when you're living. Now, what I mean by that is, when you are on your deathbed, you are not going to be thinking about small, insignificant things such as, I don't know, like a hateful comment or someone being nasty to you, or just something really small that doesn't actually affect your life long term. If it doesn't matter when you are lying there on your deathbed, it should not affect you in your day-to-day life. Like, there's just absolutely no point. You're literally wasting time. That was really, I've been doing a lot of these deep, like, one day you're gonna die kind of things lately. Oh my goodness me. Relevant, but don't worry about getting older. As much as everyone makes jokes when it's their birthday, like, oh my god, I am old, can't believe I'm nearly 30 or whatever. I have actually been to more young people's funerals in my lifetime than I have older people, and that is horrible. Too many people my age or younger have passed away, and you know, sometimes it comes around to my birthdays and I'm thinking, do you know what, I'm 26 years old, such and such a person I went to school with will never see that age because they're no longer here, type of thing. Again, deep, but there's no point in thinking, oh my god, I'm getting old, how sad. 26 ain't old, 26 is the beginning. This one I got from a friend who says this quite often, and it's, you should say what you think when you think it, and I've extended upon that instead. So for example, if you're thinking something positive, you should say it to someone, because that person could be having a really bad day, and so say you see your friend and you think they look really good today, or you like their t-shirt or whatever, you should say that positive thing to someone because they could be having like a really bad day and then you've just made their day, for all you know. Stop wasting your time trying to get people to love you. Now, when it comes to relationships, I'm very cutthroat. And I don't just mean relationships, I mean friendships as well. If someone does not want to be in your life, be gone. I just don't understand when people just chase after people that just are not interested in them. They're not going to show them any kind of love or respect, and they're just not showing you anything positive in your life. Why seek these people to give you something they can't give you? I just don't understand that personally. There are 7 billion people on planet Earth. There is bound to be at least one out there that will show you more love and respect than someone who couldn't care less. Pretty much. Stop, oh my gosh, been my lip. Stop trying to please everyone because you never will. Just leave that as it is because it's very true. Even Beyonce has haters. Who hates Beyonce? Not me. Love. Let's talk about love. I would say love is the greatest thing on the planet, but also can be the worst. And you know what I mean by that. It is the most glorious feeling when you have it, and it's the most horrendous when you lose it. So we'll say that love is bittersweet. It is so bittersweet. This is something new I want to try, and it's every now and then you should spend a day doing something for the first time. And I got this from a film, and I can't even remember what film. Oh my god, was it Breakfast at Tiffany's? I think it was. Pretty much they just spent the day doing things they've never done before, and I'm not talking about extreme things like skydiving and bungee jumping and major bucket list things. Simple things like, have you ever had cake for breakfast? Have you ever went a walk in the rain? Have you ever stolen a sweet from a pick and mix? That's as much stealing as you should do in life. But I'm going to do it. I'm pretty sure I have done it. You know when it's a pick and mix in the supermarket and you're like, well, I should try one just in case I don't like it. And then you like, true story, my auntie got caught doing that in security cameras, which is really extreme. Like, why give somebody in trouble for eating a Smartie? A Smartie. Make a bucket list every couple of years and try and tick it off like as much as possible. And again, it doesn't have to be anything extreme, but it should just be a way for you to write down your ambitions and your like adventurous things that you want to do in life, and then that way you can actually have them. I'm a visual person, so I need things visually in front of me, and then that way I can like tick them off as I go, and then that way you see what you've done as well. I have a bucket list typed up on my computer. I add to it all the time and make it 10 times longer than what I'm actually doing. But the other day I went on to it and I ticked off like 5 things that I had done and hadn't actually like taken much thought into it, if that makes sense. Always have goals, whether that's fitness goals, job goals, relationship goals, like I don't know. Always have goals. I can't say that word. Goals? Goals. Always have goals. Keep learning and moving forward. Now that is something that I feel like is so easy to get in a rut and stop learning something new. And you just, especially when you come out of school and out of university and you're in the working world and you just kind of get into the mundane, you do the same thing over and over again and you think, I'm not learning anything new. Always learn something new. Do it or regret it. So what I mean by that is, if you've got like a 50-50, I mean it is 50-50, it's 50-50 of do I do something or do I not? I would rather regret doing something, although we don't regret anything, than regret not doing it. So if you look at it, 50% of the time you're going to be glad you did it. 50% of the time you're going to be like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's kind of good odds. I would take 50-50. I would take 50-50. And you know what? See if it was a bad choice. Then you'll learn something from it, surely. Always work hard for what you want, and that kind of goes back to like the whole do what you love thing. If like nobody gives you a YouTube channel, nobody gives you a social media platform with, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers, nobody gives you ideas to do things. Like, I feel like if there's something you really want to do, you just have to work your butt off and you have to do it. Sure, there are some people that are way more fortunate than others in terms of having more money behind them, or like a team of people with ideas behind them and all this kind of stuff. But for the average person, you know, you just have to think, right, what do I want to do in life? Now this doesn't have to just be a job, it can be anything, but for me, I very much was like, no, I want to have an online career within health and fitness is what I want to do. Ta-da! Number one rule, dessert should always be eaten. You guys know chocolate is what runs through my veins. It comes out my pores, my breath smells like it, my freaking toes probably smell like it, probably not, but I feel like I went through such a phase in life of being like, oh, I want to be healthy and blah, 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 and the amount of times I didn't order dessert at restaurants. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, if you have a very specific aesthetic goal, for example, that you're working towards to go on stage or something like that, that's different. But if you are an average person like me, just trying to keep fit and healthy and enjoy life, you need to eat cake and ice cream and brownies and cinnamon rolls and apple pie, like, like whatever you want to eat. I just feel like dessert is the most glorious thing that was ever invented, and you should eat it, and you should eat it often. I want that on my gravestone. Dessert should always be eaten, and eaten often. And underneath, regret nothing. Okay, last three. Nobody really cares. Now, that's just a fact of the matter. Nobody cares. Now, if that's just kind of a case of nobody cares what you look like, nobody cares what you dress like, nobody cares what music you like, nobody cares what you look like in the gym, nobody cares what car you drive, genuinely nobody cares. Nobody cares. They might look for a minute and be like, she looks weird, or she runs like Phoebe, but but in honesty, nobody actually cares about like what you're doing, so just do it. If you enjoy it, you do it. Now this one is quite like, I do it and I also don't do it. Take photos for memories. Now I take photos constantly. Always funny ones, like always just like Marco and I carry on, just photos for memories. Like, I just love photos. When I go to my mum's house, she has a cupboard full of photo albums, like of every single year of our lives, and I just think it's the best thing ever. And when you look at those photos, they are so like raw, and they're not filtered and posed and staged. Now, that's me saying that as someone who posed and staged photos on like Instagram, for example. But there is a difference between what you do for a job and also what you just enjoy taking photos of. I'm trying to kind of even that out and try and bring a bit more like just life and rawness and whatnot to Instagram, while still maintaining it as a business profile, if that makes sense. Choose who you spend your time with wisely. You probably heard the saying that you're like the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. That could not be further from the truth. It's like when people say, oh, she got into a bad crowd at school. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, so please make sure your tribe matches your vibe. Okay, we're going to end that on a really like hard-hitting note, okay? Number 25. One day, you're going to be in a box, in the ground, and what you're going to be thinking about are the people that you love, the places that you have been, and the memories that you have made. You are not going to be thinking about any other insignificant, teeny tiny, stupid little detail of your life, such as Rosemary that pulled your hair in school. Is that even a name? In this day and age, it can be a name. You're not going to be thinking about what Paul Smith in 1902 commented on your Instagram picture. You're just not going to think about really stupid small things. So that kind of encapsulates all 25 points, I feel, and it's really just enjoy life, just enjoy it, because we're all gonna die and you ain't got time to be sad. So on that note, that's my 25 things I've learned in 25 years. I've now jumped forward a year and I'm now 26. Did you know I was 26? I like to have people guess what age I am because I always get people's ages wrong. I always guess people's ages and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I either added 10 years to you or took 10 years off of you. So I want you guys to comment down below one thing you would like to experience for the first time. So and I want you to do it before the end of 2019. For me, my one thing I really want to do, and this is going to sound so cheesy and like out of a movie, I really want to go out in torrential downpour rain. See that kind of rain that is like bouncing off the ground, movie scene type of thing. I mean, I don't want to do anything dramatic. I mean, if Marco's about, I'll be like, come and kiss me. But if I am myself, then I will just like, I'll just go out and just enjoy the rain. That sounds really strange when you say it out loud, but that's what I want to do. So with that being said, oh my god, do you want to see my birthday cake actually? So I normally make my birthday cake because why not? And I don't think it's not the easiest thing to get a vegan birthday cake in Glasgow. So last night I said to Marco, I'm just going to go to Tesco, get the ingredients for my cake, and he just looked at me and I was like, what? And he's like, don't make a cake. And I was like, oh, you got me a cake. Look at this cake. Also, I have a dress on the top half of my body and joggies on the bottom, so, you know, there's that. So this is a vegan chocolate Nutella birthday cake and it's from Sweet Nothings. I'd never heard of them. Marco just went and bought this cake. I think there must be in Glasgow. Oh my god, I've just seen it again and I nearly just died. Can you see that cake? Happy birthday, Stephanie. Oh my goodness me. I am going to drown in this cake later. Like I might actually, do you know what? I wonder if I can show you. I'm going to show you a close up and then we'll end the video on a close up of the cake. Oh my god. He told me not to eat it and not to lick it and not to touch it or like do anything until he comes home. And do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is?